Yes, my dear students, welcome to English grammar class. Today, come on, let us discuss one more important concept or a topic in English grammar that is called if clause. That is if clause. Dear children, if clause is more important in our daily conversation because in these if clauses there are three conditions. Come on, let us know, let us discuss with a beautiful example what are the three conditions, and with examples, if you discuss all the three conditions, we are going to understand easily without any misunderstanding. Okay, children, come on. Dear children, as I told you, if clause, there are three types of conditional sentences. There are three types of conditional sentences. Among the three types of conditional sentences, the first condition is possible to fulfill. Condition is possible to fulfill. Second one, condition in theory, possible to fulfill. In theory only, not in practical. Try to understand, children. Condition possible to fulfill, whether it may be theory or it may be practical. Here, second one, condition in theory possible to fulfill. In theory, not in practical. Condition not possible to fulfill. Not possible to fulfill. It means it's too late. Not possible to fulfill, it is already too late. Like this, three types of conditional sentences we have in English grammar. Dear children, the first form, conditional possible to fulfill. Conditional possible to fulfill in first form, let us see. As I already discussed in our offline class about the tenses, dear children, let me to revise your memory. In tenses, we have simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. There are four classifications in each and every tenses. There are three tenses, children. In these three tenses, we have four classification each and every tenses. In present tense, we have four classification: present simple, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous. In past simple or simple past, past continuous, past perfect continuous. In future, simple future, future continuous, future perfect continuous. Like this, we have four internal classifications in each and every main tenses. Take that. Please go to your memory. See that in simple present, will it indicate will or shall or future, or modal plus infinitive, I will give you example, then only you can understand. Okay, will, it means in future. First conditional clause, condition possible to fulfill, will, it indicate future, or modal plus infinitive. Simple past, would plus infinitive, would plus infinitive. Because you see, simple present will, it means future, or modal plus infinitive. Simple past, would plus infinitive. Past perfect, in past perfect, would plus have plus past participle, would plus have plus past participle. Children, while I am going to explain the verb classifications, I explained V1, V2, V3 and V1 ing. V1 means simple present, V2 means simple past, V3 means past perfect. V1 plus ing means present participle, like this, past participle and present participle. You see examples. Let us come to here. This is if clause. We have main two division in a sentence. One is if clause and another one main clause. Okay. If I study, see there, if I study, I will pass the exam. If I study, simple one. If I study, I will pass the exam. See the simple past. If I studied, simple past. If I studied, I would pass the exam. If I studied, I would pass the exam. If I studied, see their simple past. If I studied, I would pass the exam. Past perfect. See there. If I had studied, past perfect. If I had studied, past perfect. Do remember, children, here if you forget the tenses, you can't understand here. Please remember the 12 tenses also, and perfect continuous, simple and continuous. Please don't forget that one. Recall your memory, then only you can understand this part in without any misunderstanding. See there, if clause, if I study, if clause means because if is there, that is why this is if clause. Here main verb is there, that is why main clause. See there, if I study, simple one, if I study, I will pass the exam. If I study, I will pass the exam. Future one, I will pass the exam. Simple past. If I studied, I would pass the exam. If I studied, I would pass the exam. See there, past perfect. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. See there, would plus have plus past participle. Would plus have plus past participle, children. Past participle. See, would plus have plus past participle. Don't forget this one, children. Please remember the table 1 and table 2 in active and passive voice. In active and passive voice, while I explained active and passive voice, at that time I gave you the table 1 and table 2. In table 1, how I had given in the same here also, would plus have plus past participle. I would plus have plus past participle. Past is past participle. I would have passed the exam. If I had studied, see there, perfect one, past perfect one. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. If I studied, Would plus infinitive. If I studied, I would pass the exam. I would pass the exam. Would plus infinitive, pass. Pass the exam. If I study, I will pass the exam. Will, future. Okay, see there. Like this, children, we have three conditional. I explained the first form. Now let us go to second form. Then I will take these same examples and I will explain. In that format, the main class will comes begin, if class will go to last one. Okay? Yes. Please take the notebook, write down all these things. I will going to explain the same one more time. See children, there are three types of conditional clauses. Don't forget it. There are three types of conditional sentences. The first conditional is possible to fulfill. Possible to fulfill. Second one, in theory possible to fulfill. Third condition, not possible to fulfill because too late. Too late. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. It is too late. Now it is possible. Now it is not possible. It is too late. Already it is too late. So, like this, simple present, simple past and past perfect. Simple present, it means, the simple present means why sir you take the will or shall, like, to see there, this is conditional clause. Simple present means I know, you also know. But here the conditional, it shows the conditional clauses. While we are going to discuss the conditional clauses, will plus future, so that is one. Okay, see there, simple past, would plus infinitive, past perfect, would plus have plus past participle. It is just like a mathematics. Children, please try to understand. First, it is too difficult to understand. If you focus on it, if you dedicated, if you gave 100% involvement in this one, really you would have understood this one clearly. Okay, if class, main class. If class means if in that class if is there, that is why if class. Because in active and passive voice we have three divisions in a sentence: subject, verb, object. And in direct and indirect, in reported speech, we make two divisions. One is RV and RS. RV means reported verb. RS means reported speech. In here, in conditional classes also, if class and main class. If class and main class. See there, if I study, future, it shows, if I study, I will pass the exam. I will pass the exam. If I studied, would plus infinitive, I would pass the exam. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. Would plus have plus past participle. Would plus have plus past participle. Don't forget this one, children. Come on, let us go to second form. In that second form, I will give you the same examples in different structure. Only see, structures, sentence structure will going to change, but not in meaning. Try to understand, children. Okay, thank you, children. Come on, take down and let us discuss the second form. Okay.